You're listening to a DM podcast.
Welcome to Over the Back Fence. I'm Di Edwards.
I'm Nicola Dale, and we're buddies of nearly 4 decades. And yes, we actually do happen to share a back fence.
We do. We love parties, people, inspirational stories, and honestly, making the most out of life.
So join us as we open our hearts, share our stories, and hear from some of the most inspirational people in the world, and have a laugh along the way.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
That was amazing. Sarah Di Lorenzo, she was just like this ball of energy that just came in to the studio.
You are not wrong there. Everyone, you are going to love Sarah. She's just vibrant.
They might know her books too. It's the 10-10 simple recipe book that we just had on the table, which you'll see and we talked about on the interview.
And you see her on TV. She's on the morning show.
She's brilliant.
And also, Dani, what I really love it, but it's her attitude towards life.
Yes.
Like she's 50 now and grateful to be alive.
Yep.
So it's the whole thing
True,
of
and
not
she
just
braces
food, it's your mindset, it's, body, mind,
and
spirit, soul.
She's a holistic clinical nutritionist.
Yeah.
And honestly, her take on life and living is really worth a listen to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's not, sometimes when you're indoctrinated with diets and food and what you should and shouldn't take, she's not like that. She's actually a realist.
She's a realist. And you know what else, Di? Yeah. She's a hoot. And you get some of her dating tips and a little bit about the love life. So hang in there.
Nicola always throws that bit, and I love that.
She's a great one. I love this.
You'll enjoy her.
You'll enjoy it. Yeah.
Sarah Di Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Ciao.
We'll be here tomorrow, everyone. You can hear us all here chatting away because we love our next guest, Sarah. She's fabulous. And we've been talking about skincare, actually.
We've been talking about skincare. And tell us a little bit about Sarah.
Yes, great delight to have you.
Thank
over
you
the back
so
fence.
much.
Welcome,
It's
Sarah.
an honour and a pleasure.
We are super excited having
Sarah
you
Di
here.
Lorenzo. Woohoo. So Sarah's a clinical nutritionist and author of the 10 simple, which Nick and I love, recipe
10
book.
out of 10. You can't beat that,
It's
can you?
right up our alley, this one. Sarah offers a full holistic approach to bringing food back to basics, which I adore. As it's noted in her new book, which I love, the 10-10 Simple Recipe Book, Natalie Barr states, as you all know from Sunrise, she describes her as a walking, talking, breathing health machine. And I thought, if that doesn't nail it, I don't know what does.
I know, I'm very flattered by that.
Dani, here, look at the vision, really. And we're just sort of
you.
saying the skin, and it's from head to toe, and it's also, you can see from inside to out.
Yeah.
Because would you say that too, Sarah, that beauty's from within?
100%, absolutely. It's that holistic approach. And when I always talk to people about health, it's not just about what you eat. It's about your sleep. It's about your hydration. It's about your relationships. It's about people around you. It's about your exercise. It's about your level of connection with self. It's about taking care of yourself, which is something we mentioned before briefly, because I feel as, partners and mothers and wives and employees or employers, we always tend to put everyone else in front of us. And it's not until we get into a crisis that we go, oh, hold on a minute, I've got a diagnosis, or I've got this, or I've got too much weight. And then for some reason, people struggle, and I know I did about 10 years ago, struggle with that whole concept of self-love or self-care, because if you do that, you might have a little bit of a big head and you should be taking care of others, or as females.
Yeah, I felt selfish.
Yeah,
which is a weird...
exactly.
To think like that.
It is, but it's so true. And then, I did, and like when I went through my divorce, and I worked out as a practitioner, as a TV presenter, as an author, as a mum, single mum to 3 girls.
Going.
I was doing that. Everything that I've been doing, for me to do what I do, I have to take care of myself. And now I always tell my patients if they feel compromised, if it's with stress and anxiety or emotional and it leads into foods, I always just say, write down I just call it your list of 6. And what are 6 things that you love? If it's going to the gallery, seeing a friend, if it's going to a restaurant with someone, if it's going for a walk without technology, going for a swim in the ocean.
Remember that? A walk
without technology.
Exactly.
And
Unless
massage.
they're listening to a potty, Dani.
I love when
know.
Nicola brings
they can listen.
Nico's great with that.
I know,
So
I might know a good potty could
And
over the
often
back
our
fence.
friends we see walking
I
in our
know,
potty.
because I love the walks with potty, but sorry, Sarah, keep on
Yeah,
going. I
and
just
it's-
interject
right. You're right.
A little potty.
We do know a really good potty to listen to anyway, don't we?
Yeah.
Anyway, and it's training yourself to do this. And then if you do train yourself to do that self-love and self-care and whatever it may be, you will be a better person in all other facets of your life. And I always say that to people. Everything I do with what I practice what I preach.
Do you?
100%.
Don't you ever say, I can say it because it's a podcast, fuck it?
Oh, of course I have.
I'm so over the world. I'm so over everyone. I'm so over the kids leaving stuff around. I'm so over. I'm exhausted. Come on. Come on, Sarah. I'm not being mean.
No,
I'm being real.
I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I have one day a week where I just do it. I just move to the beat of
day.
whatever drum is beating.
Go girl.
And that drum may be just laying there watching. I did it last weekend. I thought, you know what? I just have to because I'm on book deadlines and I'm literally doing 6 jobs with. And
I'm exhausted reading your bio, and I'm not even doing it.
And I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and I'm passing out at 8 p.m. So I just thought
that makes you feel better. There you go. Good. Happy to hear that one. You're very normal.
So I do have my moments, and I'm going to an engagement party this Sunday. I'll be drinking, and that's fine, and I'll eat whatever I want. And I did have to sit down and watch Beckham on the weekend because everyone's going, "Have you watched Beckham yet?" It's like, no, I don't have any time. I thought, you know what?
You're weird if you haven't seen.
I know, and I was like, who has time to watch? I thought,
I get
no,
it.
I have moments. And I definitely give myself days to eat whatever I want. And I'm not the kind of person who is going to sit there and order Uber Eats and eat pizzas and cakes or anything. But if my 3 daughters walk in with a bag of licorice bullets, well, my hand just might go in there and I might have a pop. Exactly. Or if a friend comes over and says, "You want to go for a wine?" Of course. Yes. And even in my programs, I talk to people. You know, I'm a realist. Yeah. If you want to drink, drink, but just don't drink too much, or just have a break in between. So I give guidelines to people when it comes to alcohol. So even the 10-10, my first book, the 10-10 plan, which has been rebranded from the 10-10 diet, that has taken around 1 million kilos of Australians so far, which I just have to say. So I'm really
congratulations on that.
I love helping people.
That is good.
Well done.
I don't know. I've got this.
So good. But you know, Sarah, when you're saying that tuna
healer, I'm a healer. I'm telling you.
It's innate.
I'm a healer.
The true healers, it's innate.
Yeah.
But what Di was sort of saying there, do you think it's sort of like that self-care? If you do fall off your program there, you go, don't be hard on yourself. Like, you know, then we're all human.
So true.
We're all like, hey, be kind and go, hey, today I didn't do that well.
Yeah.
But, you know, instead of punishing yourself or thinking, okay, it's all over now. I may as well do that.
And particularly the self-talk too, you know, going on the mind,
the voice.
taking as I read recently.
Is there any tips that you can say for if you're starting, you know, you're stuffed up the day, you had a huge weekend, you had a hangover, and then Monday you go, look, you know what, I don't even know if I can keep on going.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I say this, I would say this every day to someone, a patient in my clinic. It might be whoever passes me by, people who email me, people in my community. I've got a Facebook community, which is just all the people doing my programs, which is just a place of supportive inspiration, kindness, motivating. It's a very clean, honest, authentic. It's an extension of me, and they all have to take care of each other to get to their health goals.
Gorgeous.
And it's divine.
Practice
divine.
what you preach.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And group community too.
Yeah, it is
which
a group one.
Wonderful.
There's like 14,000 in there now, and they're really cute.
And people need that support when they're going through change.
People need support.
Because we're all about community, you know, and connection and helping one another.
Yeah.
And
That's why we started this too.
And what a great example that what you're doing.
Yeah.
It is. And so when I say, so people just will write in the community, for example, go, oh, you know, I went to the wedding, a friend's wedding or blah, blah, blah. And, oh, you know, I went out a date night, whatever it is. And I will write that and I say, well, I really hope you enjoyed yourself because you're supposed to, because life is a celebration. It's short. It's fabulous. But why don't you just do a shake, do it like a smoothie, a broth and a salad or something? Because I'm a big believer I'm 50, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying this as a fact. I weigh today what I weighed when I was 18. It's just because I've learnt how to a healthy relationship with food, and I eat with circadian rhythms, and I know how to maintain a healthy weight. Now, I have a Greek background. If you don't eat, you're rude. My mother, I would walk into things as a kid, and there would be, you know, my dad, I would watch my brother and my dad would be walking my brother along by the earlobe. You know, when they like that? By the ear, and they'd be like, no, you're going to eat everything on that you eat. Because otherwise you're offending the host.
Yeah, it's a sign of love.
It's a sign of love.
So when did you start your journey of nutrition, fitness, well-being? Was it from 18 or
Yeah,
what? Tell us about you.
Well, a little bit is I fell in love with Indiana Jones, and I did as a child, and so I was always going to be a female Indiana Jones. That was my dream in life. Yes. I was going to be an archaeologist, but not only that, a marine archaeologist, but juxtaposed to that, as a teenager, I had gut issues. I loved the feeling of chi, and I love the feeling of vitality. I love that clean feeling of just clear crystal brain and on and just being intuitive and connective. That's something that I thrive on. Now, I didn't have that when I hit about 16, 17. I didn't realise I had a non-celiac gluten sensitivity. So I would eat some bread. I'd be in Italy eating pasta, and we'd be looking in beautiful galleries, and I would be bent over.
Wow.
And so it just irritated me. And I was like, I would say to my dad, who's a doctor, I can't eat bread and pasta because I feel sick and it hurts. And
is he the one with the Greek background or mum?
Yeah, Dad.
Imagine saying that to a Greek dad.
And he just
can't eat the bread
and
or
I
the
said,
pasta.
I can't do that. And he would just say, it's fine. You'll just get a bit bloated, but it's okay. We all get a bit bloated. So I grew up with my dad always saying, I'm bloated. And I'm bloated. And I said to him on your tombstone, I'm going to write, I'm bloated. So I said to him,
but a doctor's kids always have the greenest noses.
I just said to him, I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to live that way. I'm actually not. I'm not accepting of that.
Love that.
So I didn't even really want to do it. But I was good at it. And I worked out, so I used to just at nutrition.
Right.
And I just worked, I used to do things like I would go and run, and I'd come back and I would actually for my own personal interest, would then write down foods and how they made me feel. And I would just create my own diet and symptom diary from a very young age. And I would just wanted to work a tweak. And tweak. And I also wanted to eat a lot of food.
2 champagnes.
And
One.
I
4 vodka and tonics.
Actually, I get a bit bloated sometimes, Johnny, with a few too many bubbles.
It's called champagne.
It's called
that sugar, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to find out the secret, how to eat well and feel fabulous. And I started that out in my early 20s. And then I would just help people, and I say, you could do this and you could do that, or you could eat that and eat this instead of eating that. And I would see, I did a bit of modelling in my early 20s, and I'd see girls like eat, 2 red frogs in a day. And then I'd be like, and I'd be there having salads and all that, but I would be eating in the beginning of the day and not a lot at the end of the day, because I learnt to eat with my circadian rhythms. So I would just say, let's just eat in the beginning of the day. It's logical, right? Like, it's like you think of a car needs petrol through the day. It doesn't need petrol at night. So for me, I don't really have much dinner, but I'll tell you what I eat. I eat a lot. Breakfast, big lunches, morning tea, afternoon tea, but I'm not a nighttime eater, and I haven't been for a long time.
They say that's better for you.
Way better for you for a lot of... I could go on a whole tangent about the science behind that.
I prefer that.
But that's another podcast.
Yeah, I love it.
So,
making notes.
Yeah, and then I just thought, you know what, this is my gift, and I love helping people. And
Your gift, but a gift to everyone else.
Yeah, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to study nutritional medicine. I started with a science degree, and then I went and studied nutritional medicine. I love studying. I love that. I'm obsessed with. Every morning I wake up at 4 a.m. and I look at every single global study that comes in that's peer reviewed. So for writing books and stuff, so I've got the latest information. So I am a highly competitive person in my own field. I compete against myself, not other people.
What star sign are you?
A Capricorn.
Oh, hello.
Oh, 20.
See the hoof going up
yeah,
that
yeah,
mountain.
You can see it.
And it's really hard to balance on
What's
that
your
hoof.
birthday?
24th of December.
Oh, 30th.
Oh, yeah.
Typical of me. We're totally digressing.
Yes,
I can't help. I just dying to know your star sign. You know what else I want to know and understand is the 10-10. The one that Nicola and I particularly love is the 10-10 simple recipe book.
That's what I like.
We love the simple.
I'm not into big cooking.
And honestly, I've got, look at me,
Yeah.
I've marked off a whole
Your
lot that I
favourite
like.
recipes,
Yep.
yeah.
So how did that start and what is 10-10?
Okay, so basically when I started consulting, a lot of people, I would be doing
As a clinical
nutritionist, I would just see people that would come in, and what was offered in my training was like, I'll get people to do low calorie or do this, that and the other. And then I just hate, I'm going to be really honest, I can't stand the weight loss industry. I hate the word diet. I hate the weight loss industry. I hate dishonesty. And I feel that, when people do weight loss programs or diets, there's a start and a finish, right? So then they go back to their old kind of like normal eating. Well, it wasn't normal eating. It was abnormal eating because it made them obese, which is a disease state, right? It's a state of disease. I was getting patients, and then patients, we were running like programs in the clinic, whatever we would run in the clinics that I was working in a long time ago, and I just got, none of them worked for me. I didn't agree with them. I didn't agree with the way it was, and I thought, bugger all this, I'm going to write my own one. I started writing the 10-10, and I thought, and I believe in when you do weight loss, in fat loss, not fat, fluid and muscle. So traditionally diets would be like low calorie, so you would lose fat, fluid and muscle. And I'll tell you right now, where this is what creates a condition of yo-yo dieting over years and years and years of women who have done yo-yo dieting. It's a condition called osteosarcopenic obesity.
Oh, could you repeat that? You can say that one.
I can listen to Sarah just say it with perfection,
Anyway, look, in all, it basically means that when you do rapid weight loss and put it back on and off and on like a yo-yo, what you're doing all the time is you're losing muscle. Now, unless you're going to a gym, 3 to 5 times a week and doing some serious weight training,
3 to 5 times
to put muscle on, you are just having fat and fluid fluctuations. So then you're in, like a very simple term, is you're just an overweight skeleton in the end with no muscle because you're losing muscle in all this rapid weight loss. I believe in fat loss. So I'm all about keeping the body beautifully hydrated, preserving muscle. And so I focus on fat loss, and I worked out myself how to get people into ketosis, which is fat burning, but still having fruit and vegetables and nuts and having this gorgeous, beautiful, healthy, nutrient-dense, delicious diet. And I just wrote that diet out. And then I just started, people would come into the clinic. It wasn't my clinic. And the owner of that clinic, and I won't say who it is, but she would just go, what are you doing your programs for? They're losing weight and keeping it off life. She goes, that's my bread and butter. I need them to come back again. And I went, okay, I'm resigning. I can't work for you because I said, I can't work for you.
That's interesting, isn't it?
I delete.
It's good.
And anyway, then I wrote it out and I started prescribing it to my patients. My program's not just about looking fabulous, or that's a huge part of it because we all want to be our fabulous best self. It's about your best self within where you feel your happiness. I want people to do it for 10 weeks because if you do anything for 66 days, which is 9.5 weeks, it's a lifelong habit. And I'm about changing lives for forever. I'm not about a diet, I'm about a way of life.
Give me an example of what a day in your diet, like
so
what would that be?
Of weight loss or maintenance? Because I teach maintenance.
Just give me an example.
Of what you do.
Because there's people listening right now going, that sounds amazing. How does that work?
I'm maintaining weight now.
Okay,
so I'm not, so let's just do a day on a plate if you want to lose weight.
Yeah, let's just say
I'm always a big believer in wake up in the morning. Now, I always say to people, you could consider some lemon juice in water if you were up for that kind of stuff. I don't push it. I like water in the morning. Every single person is one of my big things is 30 mils per kilo of your own body weight every day of water.
Interesting.
You have to do that. It's not 8 glasses. That's 1945 nutrition information. So if you're 60 kilos, 1.8 litres a day. Why? Because it sounds counterintuitive, but it will help you with.
Because I never knew how much.
Yeah, it helps you keep your body hydrated, where you metabolize fats in the liver. It's also for eliminating waste. It's for mental health, everything, for concentration, for joints.
Have a little sip of this water.
For elimination.
It actually is water.
Now everyone's going to be grabbing a glass
true
of
water. Okay, so we have water.
So breakfast would be something like, it depends. Like I've got eggs there, so you might get 2 6-minute soft-boiled eggs, and instead of using, because it's gluten-free, instead of using bread, you would just get some asparagus spears and dip them in for breakfast, or alternatively, you might do one of my gorgeous smoothies. I love smoothies because they're a great way of chucking a whole lot of stuff in and getting a whole lot of nutrients. Yep. Now, I love nuts mid-morning. Why? Because
I'm a nut.
She loves nuts.
Lots of research on nuts.
I love nuts.
Yeah, nuts for the mid-morning between breakfast and lunch. So, and then just 10, that's all you need. So I'm all about
Can
getting
you have
the
eggs
right.
every day?
I would say yes, you can. There's no evidence whatsoever that say eggs are going to elevate cholesterol.
I can have an egg every day.
I don't. I mean,
I'm obsessed
I like to
by
mix
eggs.
it up.
I'm in love with an egg.
I'm
eggs
more
are
of a
good.
muesli and yogurt and berries girl, but I make sure I'll have eggs at least maybe once or twice a week.
You'll have eggs
because it's
but not
good
all
for
the
you.
time.
Yeah, eggs are great, and they're very
It's not my
affordable in this cost of living as well.
Yeah,
It's another
exactly.
good point.
So
mid-mornings, we've
I've had
some
nuts. What are we doing for lunch?
Lunch is, I always say to people, your palm, because we're all different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
So I don't like talking calories or macro splits. I don't like doing any of that because that's not real life. And people travel and they move around. And so I always say to the people, your palm's your plate. this is your portion of protein. Then we get 3 cupped handfuls of salad and vegetables, and that's your fat. And I always like olive oil for the fat.
Wow.
So we do a palm-sized portion of protein, 3 cupped handfuls of salad or vegetables on the plate.
It's a cool way of doing it, isn't it?
Let me tell you right now, that's about the size of a plate that our grandparents had in their dining.
In their day.
In their day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mid-afternoon fruit, because why? We get the cortisol dip, we get the 4 o'clock slump, we're about to go into the melatonin. Why not have a bit of fructose, which is coupled with fibre, something sweet and delish that will give you that good steady release of energy until dinner. And dinner again, palm-sized portion of protein of choice, can be anything. You could have half a dozen oysters if you wanted to. You could have prawns, you could have some lamb, whatever you wanted, just your palm. And again, 1.5 cups of salad or vegetables. Now that can be turned into soups and stews and different things. And if you've got the water, if you're hungry, I always say to people like peppermint teas are great for digestion. Black coffee will get rid of hunger pangs and it actually speeds up metabolism. A bit of chili on the food can help speed up metabolism.
A glass of red wine.
7 units a week is what I've said to people doing 10-10.
Units, 7
Yeah,
units.
what-
Is
A
it
unit's
glasses or
150.
what?
Is that bottles?
A unit's 150 mils of wine.
So say what,
So
a
what's
glass
average
or how,
glass?
no,
A
what
glass,
would you-
a glass of wine that you would get in a restaurant
Yes.
is 150 mil. And
Okay,
that's
so
what a unit is.
So you're saying just under 7, like you have a glass
a
a day.
bottle. I always say to people, for my drinker, people
Yeah.
who love drinking, and
Yeah.
and then you know what, that's important because there is couples who do that.
Yes.
You've got to
It's been
remember
social.
couples.
It's also,
Yes.
couples too. And it's
Couples.
also sometimes
Yes.
a lifetime enjoyment that sometimes you like a nice glass of wine that complements the food.
Yeah.
So I guess
Absolutely.
if you're on a diet, you might want to stop it for that time. But if you're in your lifestyle, then you want to enjoy it.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's a balance,
It's real.
isn't
It's a
it?
balance, yeah.
Yeah.
I always say to people, just give your liver a little bit of a break from Monday to
Yes.
Thursday,
Yeah.
and maybe just do the Friday, Saturday,
That's a good
and the
tip
Sunday
too,
lunch.
isn't it? If you
A
can.
little bit of
Yeah.
liver love,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
we're going to be
liver love.
kind.
Because tell
to
us,
our-
what does
Yeah.
it do if you drink every day?
Yeah.
If you know, or knows people that do, what does it really do long term?
Depends how much, though, don't
It
it?
depends.
But I'm
yeah.
guessing if you're a fairly big drinker,
Well, look, as much as it's
There's
a bit
some
of
true
a
health
there is
issues
some
there.
there is some serious health crisis like
catches up with them.
cirrhosis of the liver, number one, and a significant increase in risk of breast cancer. We know that breast cancer is a really big one, white wine especially, and I think it's
Yes.
something, white wine, and then of course weight gain. That interferes with hormones, especially things like your antidiuretic hormone. That as soon as we start drinking, we dehydrate straight away, and then when we dehydrate, our body will release. We don't want to dehydrate, so we have these interruption with our body fluids. So you get bloated and puffy. Gut issues as well, big one. It can interfere with the microbiome, causing people, bloating, distension, or just issues with their movements will change when they're consuming a lot of alcohol.
And moods.
And moods,
too.
Headaches
and I'm
and-
telling you a big one,
Yeah.
sleep. So you
Yes.
pass out,
Interesting.
but you wake up.
3 a.m. liver time, I've always said.
No, 2 a.m.
Oh,
liver.
there you go, it's an hour
3
off.
a.m. is the serotonin dip. So 2 a.m. you wake up because your body's detoxing. And 3 a.m. when you
Yes.
wake up going, you might have some palpitations and
Yeah,
you're thinking
so
about
true.
your life and thinking, what am I doing with my
Yes.
life? Well, that's not, that's happened. That has happened to me, by the
Yes,
way. I've
yeah.
woken up at 3 a.m. going, Sarah, what are you doing with your life? And I was thinking, but I was
Yeah.
having so much fun with my friends. Like,
Yes.
And then I
It's so
I
true,
went and
isn't it?
researched it, and we have a very big dip in serotonin. I have this schizophrenic conversation
Yeah,
going,
but everyone
you're
does.
a
What
smart lady,
Yes.
Sarah.
Love
you just
it.
got a little bit of a dip in serotonin,
Yeah.
darling. Go back to sleep.
Off you go.
And,
La,
what-
la, la.
and what's your
No,
tip
beautiful.
then?
I love
'Cause
it.
We have a lot
See,
of
normalise things, and I love that.
But what's your tip on going back to sleep at 3 o'clock and then all of a sudden your mind's, you're ruminating and you're thinking of those things?
Great question.
What do you do at that stage
Seriously.
to get back?
It's safe you can't get back.
It's
Yeah.
3. And
Like
next
that
minute,
little chat
we
didn't
all know
work.
friends.
Yes.
Then it's 4. And
Yeah.
then you're going,
I've
"Where's
got,
the day
I've
up?"
got some really fab tips for that.
Shoot.
Okay,
love
so
it.
and look, a lot of that depends on what's on your mind. I mean, because the thing is, usually we'll get into. Hopefully, we've got into our beautiful 4-hour deep sleep where all the magic happens, the cleaning of the brain, the rejuvenation, all that stuff, and then we kind of come out into that bit of REM.
Yes.
And then when we're REMing, the REMing can bring in like, oh, I've got a big day ahead, or what happened yesterday, or I've argued with someone, and then you start catastrophizing.
Yes.
Everything at between 2 and 4 a.m. is catastrophic.
Yes.
So-
Yeah.
and I sometimes
Bizarre.
think, okay, if I was thinking about this at 10 a.m., I wouldn't. It was not a problem. But
No.
I've got so
It's a great one,
I've
that
thought,
one.
and I always say, Sarah, at 10 a.m. or at 2 p.m., this
Wouldn't
isn't a
mean
problem. But right now, you've just got that witching hour of catastrophic thought process. So I just do this thing where I go, all right, I'll talk to myself, and I go, I breathe in for 4, hold it, do a big fat breath out for 8. and I'm like, get a carbon dioxide out of me. I'll open my window, and then I'll do that about 4 or 5 times, and then I'll smile, because smile right now. You get a dopamine hit straight away. So I do that. I'll smile, and I think, God, if anyone looked at me, I'd look like Chucky the Clown, like right now. But a smile releases dopamine. And I was like, all right. And then I'll do the breathing in for 4, out for 8, and then I'll just do the facial movements where I do a smile, where I get, then I think, okay, I've got a bit of dopamine now. And then if it's still going, I will then just think, all right, this brain's not quietening down. And I won't get up, and I will just do something perfunctory as I can find, and I'll start counting. But the breathing and the smiling.
That's a good one. You know what? I've never ever heard of the smiling before.
It's
No, I do the breathing. I do the breathing, but not the
breathing's a good
smiling.
one. So, you know what,
Smile.
we're going to add that one.
Why are you catastrophizing everything? Don't forget to smile.
Now, we were talking before, is it
God.
Ozempic?
Ozempic.
Yeah.
Now,
Ozempic,
that
yeah.
seems to be, you know, whether it's on trend
It's
or
topical.
every second person I'm hearing,
Yeah.
either they're
A lot
on
of
it or
people
they're
on it.
talking about it, or you shouldn't be on it, or you should be
In the
on it.
news.
What's your
Yeah.
views on it, Sarah?
I'm honestly beside myself. I'm horrified. I'm mortified. I'm
Really?
scared.
In what way?
Wow.
A lot. I'm scared
Wow,
for people.
that's
Yeah.
big.
I'm actually scared. Okay, so first of all, I'm a specialist in obviously weight and health, and I've studied the human body, etc. First of all, it's a newish medication. We don't have any long-term studies. There's a few elements I'll go through. I don't like the psychology behind it. It's a short-term solution. And the thing is, okay, I'm going to preface this with, Ozempic is a pharmaceutical medication that has a place in society for people who are very sick with type 2 diabetes, who are about to have legs amputated, lose their vision, who have complete compromised health. They might have
And that's how it was
diabetic
originally
neuropathy.
designed for that. Yeah.
I'm, okay, for them, I'm
Right.
completely
Yeah.
You
supportive.
get the tick for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like all
Brilliant.
medication is for people who need it.
Yes.
Healthy women who want to lose 5 kilos because they want to look hot, I'm sorry, it's an eating disorder behaviour. The psychology of sticking a needle into a healthy body. First of all, it creates pancreatic inflammation, which is a precursor for pancreatic cancer. Pancreatic cancer is one of those cancers, like ovarian, that you only find out at stage 4. There's no going back. There's no warning signs. So you can function until stage 4 with pancreatic cancer. So why would you want to inflame?
Is that a fact that it does inflame the pancreas?
You get pancreatitis.
So there's research to prove
100%.
that. Wow, okay.
Interferes with your metabolism. It slows down your metabolic rate. So what happens when you stop? You've slowed down your metabolism because you're just not having the regular food in there, right? Well, let's just look at the Biggest Loser studies, right? Studies were done on that show that basically humiliated people to lose 80 and 100 kilos in a very short period of time. If you look at the research of those participants from global studies done when they had had that restriction, massive restriction, when they of course all put their weight back on because they weren't taught healthy eating patterns. They were just taught how to actually
maintain
not
it.
eat.
Yeah.
They were never did weight maintenance, which I'm a very big believer in. And then for them to lose weight again, their metabolism was so destroyed that they would have to go on a diet of like 500 calories a day. So you end up just destroying yourself. You end up not being pretty much able to eat properly again because you've destroyed your metabolism.
So what's your greatest fear about Ozempic? Is it more
it is
about the unknown?
Because, you know, there'll be listeners
Sorry,
now who will be on it.
Yeah.
Will
Yes,
know
that's
their friends
exactly.
and are they
Yeah.
going to be
And
scared?
they're
Or what would you
freaking
say
out.
to them now?
I
Should they
would
stop
just
immediately
say-
or should they taper off? Or what would you say?
I would be saying to them, first of all, if you are on it,
Yep.
go and see a healthcare practitioner. If you do have weight to lose, go and seek professional help. Just don't try and do it on your own. And get that GP who prescribed it to be working with you with a registered dietitian or a clinical nutritionist about coming off it. Whilst you're coming off it, you've got to start learning a healthy relationship with food. You can't inject yourself for the rest of your life with Ozempic, right? No. So I want to look at these people when they're 70 and see what's going on with them then. And of course, gut issues. I mean, and if you have an accident and you're on Ozempic, you can't have a general anaesthetic because the food sits in your stomach for way beyond what the digestive process is because
Wow.
it slows down
I
digestion.
tell you what,
I
that's
didn't
a,
know
that's
that.
a big
By mouth.
warning one, isn't it? How long do you have to wait for that?
Well, normally it would be 24 hours, I would say, with Ozempic, but normally you would get nil by mouth from midnight if you were having an operation the next day. So if you're in a car crash and there's just issues like that.
I tell you what, that's really good that you've said that.
I've been
because that's sort of something
researching
like
it.
that. That's sort of something
I think
would
it's
never
also
have even
more the
known
unknown.
too. It could be a little bit of a wake-up call for
It's a
people.
real question mark, isn't it, at this
Yeah.
stage?
look at you. You're 50. You're fabulous. She's absolutely gorgeous. How do you feel now, as we start to age?
Do you know what? I absolutely love it.
Woo!
I have to say.
Tell us.
Okay. First of all, aging is a gift. I've been lucky in life to be able to age when many people haven't been able to age for whatever reason. I'm
Lucky enough to age.
Lucky enough
Great
to age.
attitude, isn't it?
I never heard that.
Yeah, I'm lucky
it's
to
a
age.
gift.
Some people
Yes.
aren't lucky to age. They might have had traumas or accidents or been
That's
born
a
in different.
beautiful line.
I'm
It's
lucky to be
beautiful.
able to age. I'm also lucky to be able to have the wisdom with age. Now I love I'm so.
Try and tell your kids
I
that,
love.
though.
I love
You don't realise I've been in this earth much longer than you. I know.
But this is, as we say, music to us. I love hearing this.
I
This is
just love
great.
it. So I'm 51,
Yep.
and first of all, I feel blessed. I love my mindset I'm so different. I'm very black and white. I mean, if you're there and you're great, you're all part of it. If you're not, there's the door. Like I'm all about
Boundaries? You're a
about
boundary
boundaries.
chick?
I only surround myself with people who are authentically wanting to be with me. I just
Love that.
I have to. I'm very careful of the people around me, and just even things like dating. But I'm.
How's that going for
Yeah,
you?
let's
not
go there.
happening.
Come on, let's
I
go there.
need to
Why?
Okay. woo.
Look at- hey,
Well, come on.
guys,
Okay,
she's
let's just go there
gorgeous.
because we like a little bit of info. How long have you been
on-
single?
I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
single,
yeah.
so I've been divorced for a very long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I did date someone, and I abstained from dating because my kids were really young. I've got
Yeah,
a
of
single mum to
course.
3 daughters.
And how old are the girls
They're girls
now?
are almost 21.
Okay.
Almost,
Time to
almost
bloody get
20,
out there
and then
again.
I've got a 14-year-old. So
Yeah.
yes,
And
I've
what
still
about
got
your
her.
tips?
Yeah.
It must be. We've gone through separations and divorces and things like that. Like when you're going through, it might have been a while ago. What's your tips for listeners out there when they're going through a breakup or going through that? What do you? What
Oh,
helps,
look,
Sarah?
What sort of food
I'm
should
a
they
very,
eat?
well, that's a
or
different
mindset.
question.
So what's
Yeah.
Sarah's tips?
I always just say to people, don't be scared of the other side,
Mm-hmm.
because people become terrified with divorce or leaving families or leaving
It's
their
huge,
kids. And,
yeah.
and remember, my biggest driver was you're a role model. And you know what? You've got one life, and don't be scared, because as one door closes, a fabulous one can open. And every day in my life, every door that I've thought has been amazing and that has closed, a better door is open, because I've got the wisdom and I've got the strength in decision. I wasn't
That's
scared.
beautiful,
I
isn't it?
left. I was the leaver with 3 young children, and I left, and it was really traumatic, and it was just awful, and it's the fear. But just don't be scared, and be proud of the decision you're making, and think about why you're making it. I did get help. I did seek professional
That's a
help.
tip to get some
Yeah,
help when you need it.
I'm always
Yeah.
about the expert, and I just
Yes.
said I need some guidance here.
Yes.
But I just and you know what? I look at my daughters now, and my daughters come on Sunrise with me. I have raised the most magnificent, humble, beautiful, kind,
Good girl.
gorgeous,
Well, divine.
So I'm so proud of my kids.
It's wonderful.
and I've done that.
So it's
and
about you now.
and then when it sort of for relationships for me, I'm selectively single.
Have you been on the dating site?
I did a dating app. I don't have luck with them. I don't.
In what
have,
sense?
I don't know. I need to get a feel of someone. I'm not someone who's a looks person who goes, oh, and it has to have brown hair, or he has to.
Well, you're human.
I'm not a looks
You've
person.
got the Greek blood, my darling. It's like you feel it, feel the energy.
My ex. So I dated someone for a few years. It ended about 2 years ago,
Right.
and people would see him and they would be like, yeah, and I'd be like, no, just let him talk. And he was just gorgeous,
Yes.
and so he was great. But then I wanted to really focus on my work and writing and stuff, and I don't really have the time for someone. But I have got a little bit of a criteria now with what would suit me. And
Shoot, what's that?
And is it
I-
basic?
okay.
Or is it specific?
I don't.
Tall?
It's okay, preferably tall. My height or above, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
My financial equal or above. I'm not looking
Yeah.
for passengers.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not looking to nurse anyone,
Yes,
baby
yeah.
anyone. I'm looking.
Yep.
I want someone who's got common interests with me, but I want someone who is happy in their own life. That I'm the cherry on top.
Yeah.
I can't be with someone who's on a journey because, and you know what I'm going to say, a commitment to someone is a big damn compliment. It is a massive compliment to commit yourself to someone.
Yeah.
It is huge. And if I'm going to commit myself to you, I just want someone who, I don't care what their job is, so long as they're good at it and they love it. I'm not a box
Yeah.
ticker. I can
Yeah.
tell you that right now. For me, I just know that when I meet someone,
Energy.
I'm the energy when
Yeah.
I meet
just
someone,
know.
I'm just in, and I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
Sarah,
Yes.
I
love that.
like your
I love
attitude.
that.
Yeah.
Laughter is actually laughter.
It's
Laughter's
almost
a big
like
one.
number one.
Laughter.
I always
So
think.
true.
Tall,
Kindness.
laughter.
I think kindness,
love
yeah.
Thoughtful.
kindness.
Yes, thoughtful.
Are you
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
It's a simple
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Not,
check
not,
in.
not, not me and
Check
I.
in with you. Are you?
Check in,
Yes.
yes. So would you like to be in a relationship,
With the
Sarah?
right person,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I have to ask you, just give me your take on Woolworths or some other grocery store, Coles versus organic fruit and veg.
Okay, so I'll tell you right now,
Yeah.
I'm a very big believer in
Yeah.
seasonal. So it doesn't where
Right.
you buy your produce
Yep.
from, buy it in season. I flirt with all of those grocery stores. I have them all for different purposes. So I might do a
Right.
Harris
Yeah.
Farm one day if I want this, or I might even it depends on what my needs are with different things. But when it comes to mainstream stuff, they're all much of the same. I do
Really?
yes.
And you're not worried about sprayed products and
I'm
Coles or Woolies?
To answer that question,
Yeah.
honestly, I have researched it.
Yep.
It's very heavy regulations in Australia
Yeah,
over those sprays.
interesting.
So if you look at the Food Standards Australia and if you
Yes.
research the pesticides
pretty
and the
good, really, what
pharmicides
you
and the
can buy there.
fungicides
Yeah.
and everything that they use, it is so heavily regulated. Now, organic is expensive. Now, the
Because
thing
I
is,
go to Woolworths and I go with an
But are
apple
you-
or I go with a celery or with a carrot or with a basil and I can't smell anything. There's
Yes.
nothing. And then I
Well,
go to the
that's-
organic shop and I go, oh my
Oh,
God.
you can
it
smell it
knocks me
straight away.
over, the aroma.
So what I normally say to people is, if you learn to shop what's in season,
Right.
it's what your body needs at that time of the year. And when you look at local farming, it's anything that's in season. If you see like when you walk into a supermarket, everything that's on sale at the front or there's too much of it,
Yeah.
there's like 1,000 punnets of strawberries and you're thinking, geez, they over-ordered their stock.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. It's locally grown, it's harvested when it's ripe, it's nutrient dense, and it's what our bodies need at that time of year. So, for example, you will find a lot more root vegetables in winter. Why? Because we want to hold the warm thing. You'll find more things like avocado maybe in autumn, which is to get us, fatten us up for winter. You'll find more hydrating fruits like watermelon in summer to hydrate us. Food is designed within our planet at that time of year to give our bodies what it needs. So you'll see more citrus coming into spring. Why? To support allergies and to support our immune system. And then you'll see things like a lot more greens that sort of support detox pathways coming out from winter into the spring months. So I'm a big believer in shopping seasonally. When you do that, there is less farming and there's less transportation.
So we've got a couple of our signature questions. Did you want to shoot, Didi?
If you
Doody?
had a minute to go back and have a chat to your 20-year-old self, what would you say to her and why?
Yeah, okay. So I've been asked this question before, and you know what? I would just say the biggest thing, learn from your mistakes quicker, because I'm a very big believer in I love mistakes because we learn from them.
I love
but
that.
I would
That's great.
and I would
good.
probably say back to myself then at 20, because you're
Yeah.
finding your way then.
Yes.
I would, because I love 85-year-old Sarah. I think about her when I'm making a decision, and 85-year-old Sarah doesn't care about anyone. She's like, just do it. I would have talked to myself back then and just said, just given myself a little bit more confidence back then than I didn't have, because I was, and also I would have said, no one cares, does not care about what others think.
Do you give those tips to your daughters?
100%. I say to them, no one cares. And the other thing is,
Best
when
advice.
people are angry, it's not a reflection on you. I tell my kids this: if someone's angry or you're being bullied, you have to feel sad for that person. You know,
Or what
Yeah.
other people
You
think
have
of
to
me
feel
is their
sad.
business.
Yeah,
I'm a great
business,
believer in
but
that.
they're
I like
them.
that it's on them.
Yeah.
If you could share a back fence with anybody on
Oh,
planet Earth,
gosh.
Sarah, who would it be
I
and
don't know.
why?
At this stage in my life, at 50 and feeling like I am and ready for dating, it's probably going to be a male, first of all.
Ooh,
I don't know.
okay.
Maybe a fabulous female. I
We're
haven't
we're
really-
putting you under the pressure here.
No, if it could be a
Yes.
celebrity.
You could be anybody.
anyone.
Anybody.
Oh, who do I have that?
Past, present, anybody on planet Earth.
Gosh,
darling.
that's such a hard question because
What about your
my
women?
first thought
Yes.
is my family.
Yeah, I was
I'm not
thinking
going to
that. We're
lie.
great blood, my
first
darling.
thought is,
Oh, that's lovely.
my daughters, but that's because they are my everything. I don't know, someone freaking hot, maybe someone to have a bit of fun with.
I
don't know.
We want a name. Come on. Come
okay.
on. You're not
I mean,
getting out
this
of
is under pressure. Like I'm
beforehand.
thinking,
Yep.
I'm just rattling. I'm just thinking, who do I think that's fabulous now? I love comedians.
Which comedians do you like?
I'm obsessed obsessed with this guy in the UK called Luke Hammett. Now,
Okay, we've got a name.
He's really
We've got
funny.
a
Oh, he's-
name.
yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for
Why
joining
not?
us today. Thank
Yeah.
you for listening, and
Yeah.
we'll be in your ears next Monday.
Look forward to it.
Now, Jodie, how many stars?
55 out of 5.
Well, there you go.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Ciao.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.